Allan and I want to welcome you to yourweddinghub.com, and this happens to be the day, and some of you have tuned in specifically for the wedding story of the week. Just today I was meeting with a couple who were planning their wedding, and they said, Allan, what happens if one of us are sick on our wedding day? And I thought, well, that's kind of a silly question because you just carry on. But as I was thinking about it, I did think of a situation that really kind of took the extreme into account. It's a couple, a number of years back. It wasn't actually me that performed their wedding ceremony, but I knew them, and 1 week before the wedding, his buddies threw the stag. And at his stag party, they got him pretty drunked up, and he fell on a beer glass, crushed it as he hit the ground, cut the tendons in his wrist, and just a deep gash in his wrist. So they raced him off to emergency and had to stitch him all up, and they put a cast on this guy's arm. Well, about Tuesday, Wednesday of the following week, which is their wedding week, and now remember this guy's got a cast on his arm, he started getting sick. And they phoned the doctor, and the doctor says, well, no problem, probably just 24-hour flu. But the next day his temperature started going through the roof. And so finally, I believe it was on Wednesday evening or Thursday, the bride raced into emergency. And at this point, there was a little bit of green stuff oozing out from under his cast. And the doctor that was on call at ER that night, he took one look at it and he said, I'm not even going to touch that. He said, you get back to the doctor that took care of this in the first place, and you better get there quickly. So she raced him into the city. They cut that cast open, and he had this serious infection. And when they cut the cast off, stuff just oozed out all over the table, and this guy was in serious trouble. He ended up in isolation in the ICU unit, and he was there for 28 days. They had 275 people attending their wedding, people flying in from all over the world. They put this guy on heavy morphine because he was in a lot of pain. And so what they decided they would do is have the best man stand in, kind of in proxy, at the ceremony and do their part. But the bride, the minister, and 2 witnesses went to the ICU on the day of the wedding. She was in her gown, but she had to, put on the hospital garb and the mask and everything. And they took pictures. Now, you know in the cartoons when somebody's just got bumped in the hand and for a mouth they just kind of put a squig? That's what this poor guy looked like in his wedding photos. They woke him up and his eyes were, each was going a different direction because he was absolutely stoned on morphine. He told me, he said, I woke up an hour later and I thought, was I hallucinating or did I actually get married? So they did the wedding, and then the bride and the rest of them carried on with the wedding, and he went back onto his little trip there and stayed in isolation for 28 days. So sometimes unfortunate things happen, but you just have to kind of make the best of it, and that's what they did. But you know what? I've done weddings with where the groom was sick, actually had the flu. Nobody knew it. He just kind of sucked it up, and so you just do what you can and you make the best of it. But that's the wedding story of the week, and I want to thank you for coming in on yourweddinghub.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you tomorrow on yourweddinghub.com. Thank you.